Hey, what's up, guys? I usually I'll review a book if I think it's something useful. Uh, but what I'm gonna do this time is I'm going to actually sort of give a really bad review to a book that really disappointed me, and it disappointed me for two major reasons. Um, and I'm gonna give you something good to compare it to, something good that you should check out. It's a book I had mentioned a while back, but it really is the counterpoint to this thing. Okay? 1990s trash horror. So right off the bat, you're coming from that the kind of smarmy hipster kind of view here in a blog. Okay, supposedly this blog or whatever this is supposed to love these films, but I didn't really get that in here, and I did get something else. So, of course, the '90s stuff is great to go over. This is when a lot of stuff was being shot on video. I had gone over some of the films from that time, like Ozone, Shattered Dead, Darkness. Some of the better examples, in my opinion, the more serious examples. But still, the video, shot video horror is what it is. And on the lower formats like Super 8. But I just, when I bought this in a comic store, I figured, hey, this would be great. How it has to be decent. How could you make a book not good on this? Okay? You have an intro here, right? The website mission was simple. So this is a website celebrate no budget do it yourself DIY movies that were considered less than garbage by 99.8% of the planet's population. The problem is that the majority of these reviews, in the end, sort of take that tact. Most of these movies are not really are looked down upon. From what I get from these reviews, most of these are very insulting. If anything, the reviews for the film will go on about something totally different. Okay, and then bring it back to the film in a way where if you were grabbing this thing, honestly, no, I'm not even trying to be like petty. If you grab this thing and let's say you were curious about the DIY films of the '90s, okay, you would look at this. You would probably not want to see almost most of them or any of them. To be frank, that's what I got from reading this. Okay, there seemed to be a contempt for these films in this. That's what I got. Okay. Oh, you didn't read it through it. I looked through this. Okay. After a while, it starts to get it got really annoying. So I tried to read this a few times. I finally sat down, went through it, and it was my gut reaction was correct. Um, there's a few other things in here that I noticed that I now really, I wouldn't say bother me. Okay, they outrage me. No, no, they fill me with contempt for the people writing this. Okay, I'm not gonna make a big deal about it. I just have contempt for what they get across, and I'm gonna show you what I'm talking about. Right? Let's see. Okay. Okay. All right. I don't see the point of that. Okay. All right. Huh. Okay. All right. What? Let's see what else we got here. Oh. Okay. All right. You guys can read that, yeah? Okay. Let's see what else we got. Uh, all right. Okay. All right, let's see. Okay. What is this? Okay, I'll read it. I am a white dude. Because of this, there's no way for me to understand the challenges that women and people of color face on a daily basis. I recognize that my life has been easier. This is why it's important for me and every other white man on the planet to celebrate the accomplishments of people who are not white men whenever possible. Okay. Well, if that's what you think. I don't agree with anything said here, particularly life has been easier, and that every other whole white man on the planet should celebrate the accomplishments of people who are not white men whenever possible. Okay? I won't even say why they're saying that. I won't even say it doesn't make any sense. I won't even do any of that. Okay. Just there's more examples in here that okay, and there's other things too. You see, when you say, "Oh, well, this woke stuff sort of came out of nowhere," I don't want to get into that. Listen, all this stuff was always left of center. I know, I was there. I was one of those left of center people. Although I never, ever even thought this. Okay. Regardless, I'm not gonna overemphasize things. It was useful, I guess, as a list for some more obscure things. Okay, but for the most part, between that, okay, which is more than annoying. I keep saying that this is gonna bear some really nasty fruit in the next decade or so to come. Okay, when a lot of you and myself are gonna be older people. Okay. I can't countenance that or tolerate that in any capacity. So basically, don't ever get this book. I'm gonna try to see if I can, as Arkham Reporter said, maybe get a couple of bucks for this at a used bookstore, which there are some not far from here, and maybe get a couple of bucks so I could buy a beer or something. Right? Not recommended. They have one from the 80s. I just don't even bother. Right? Yeah, that's a put down. But I don't want to leave it at this. I don't want to leave you like this with this thing here. I want to show you a book that is everything and more than that was, and bigger and more informative. The guy, Richard Mogg, I've gone over this shortly. Oh, it has something, okay, that the other one has. This is black and white. It is not a book of color. Okay, it is not as slick as the other one. But this man has interviews with many of the creators. Okay, he actually talked to them. This guy actually made film. Okay, and I think that a lot of that was what comes through. Bunch of smarmy bloggers who don't do anything, don't create anything, versus a guy who has made his own films and who loves the whole concept, the DIY concept. And you see how it goes here. You have the eras. Everything goes year by year. And then you have interviews, the Polonias, Donald Farmer, Joel D. Wynkoop, Tim Ritter, Florida guys. And you have good interviews with many of these people who, Dave the Rock Nelson, that dude, Ron Bonk. And you have in-depth reviews, not just of the films that are the ones that the creators who he interviews are with, but just everything in general, okay? And he doesn't, he's there's a love for it there. Even when a film is total, to use their term, trash. Like this film I've never seen, but I gotta see this film. This film sounds crazy. He still has a respect for it. He tries to find something in it that is worthwhile. Right? There's one of the surviving Polonia brothers. These guys really were no budget dudes from Pennsylvania. But yeah, it's just great book. Everything that other book wasn't. with a lot more pages, and I think that one's a little pricier than this. Or they're in the same price. But Analog Nightmares, shot in video horror films, 1982 to 95. Richard Mogg, get this. This is great, and I'm hoping Richard. I'm hoping he's thinking of making maybe from 95 into the 2000s. You had a lot of shot on video stuff being done digitally, the digital editing revolution. You had some really good shot on video films coming from about, say, 95 to maybe the late 2000s. I mean, by 2008, when Bammy gets in there and the economy goes into the tank, a lot of things seem to start to, by 2010, 2012, things seem to all across, they seem to go to the next phase of all the stuff that we have now in many areas. But it'd be cool if you did a book on that, like from 95 to maybe 2010. You still have people doing that. So, and maybe even, because he mentions in this book about shooting on your phone, maybe he could even, and this is a suggestion, if you're seeing this, the analog horror, right? The stuff that people are making that go on YouTube or video platforms, being shot literally on their phones, shot on all kinds of things. Maybe you could cover that as an example of, like, YouTube horror or whatever. That's just my little opinions about it. Great book. Get this book. This guy really, this is the book to get. And that's it. So I gave you the salt and I gave you the sweet, okay? The bitter, okay? And once again, this is a time that you're really never going to get again. And it inspires me to go forward and do what I had a long lag from, which is making horror films by hook or by crook, with my phone, with a VHS camera, everything in between, maybe even messing around with Super 8, whatever, getting it out there, regardless, something to say. It was a pretty rough start to this year, but I'm very thankful. I'm thankful to a bunch of people, my watchers, Arkham Reporter, BTD, DFC Sons, Sieg Viking, whatever your name is. Thanks a lot. I really appreciate it. Watching the channel. I'm just a guy with a camera, just talking, man, but trying to make stuff like this guy here, trying to create things, not just make fun of things. And to me, it's not a lot of fun. My critiques, they can be fun when I'm mocking, but in the end, I'm pointing out things that are not going to be good for the future, But who's going to hear? So, might as well have fun in these goings down in the sun. Later.